Hi everyone, it's JenzTEN96, day 31. How are you guys doing? This is Jennifer Beaumont-Whyte, and I'm taking you on a journey from being stuck, from being wherever you're at, to living a life that lights you up. That's what I do on a day to day. I'm a transformation coach, and I help people to heal their wounds. So I love transforming lives and healing hearts. That's basically what I do, helping people move from being stuck to moving forward, to achieving their goals, going for their North Star, all the juicy stuff in life that people would want to do. So I thought tonight I'd let you hear a little bit about my story from when I was a kid coming into the UK from Jamaica. I was born in Jamaica, in a little town called Cocoa Walk in the parish of Manchester. And I was on the plane when I was 3.5 years old, arrived in 1962, August 1962. Part of the Windrush generation, but I never came on the ship. I came on a BOAC plane. I flew. I think by that time anyway, everybody was taking planes because the trip on the boat I think it was 3 weeks it would take on the boat. And then, obviously the British wanted the Caribbean peoples to come to help to rebuild England, especially after the World War II devastation of decimating the towns, decimating the infrastructure, and a lot of lives were lost. A lot of people were lost in the war, and there weren't enough people to actually do the work. There's a lot of talk about English people not wanting to do the work. That's not exactly true. There weren't enough people to do the work. That was the problem. Yeah, and then we came into the racism that was there, and the suspicion and all that kind of stuff that was rife at the time. My mom had come from Jamaica from when I was 18 months. She was encouraged by my dad to go and check out England because my uncles were already her brothers were already there, and so he sent my mom, and then the idea was then she would send for him and me, yeah. But I was living with my grandmother and my granddad. She left me with my granddad and my grandma, while my dad he was a bus driver, and he used to drive around the island, driving the buses, and he was also a mechanic. And he was a bit of a player, let's say, yeah. So by the time Mum decided, okay, she's going to send for us to come over, he said, first of all, he said he's not coming because it's too cold. England's too cold. He's heard that England's too cold. And then next letters were, oh, I'm not coming because I started another family. So Mum being totally devastated and heartbroken because she really did love my dad. So she saw in him, in me. She'd look at me and, even in my later years, she'd say, oh, look at you. You look so much like your papa. You look like your dad. And, so consequently, she was not very nice to me because she'd look at me and feel like resentment that the fact that he'd not come over, and just really not be very nice to me, and that bonding wasn't there. And then she started a new relationship with my stepdad, and I had my two brothers, and he was not a very nice person. Fast forward to coming into London, because we actually landed in Birmingham when we took that plane, Birmingham Airport, and all my uncles were up there. And then Mum had to flee from up there to London. One of her friends had somewhere for her to hide as a refuge because my stepdad was not a very nice person. So she flew and escaped from him, came to London, and then, yeah, by this time I was about 7. And so I started school in London, in Peckham, Nunhead, then Peckham. Then my mum won a bit of money on the pools. I don't know if you remember the pools back there, the football pools. And then she got herself a mortgage, and this time with my new stepdad. And they live, they're very good to each other. Moved to Sydenham, where I grew up, and I went to school in Beckenham. So that's why I speak so posh. Yeah. Except for the fact that when I lose my temper, I can break out into this broad Jamaican, and I'm thinking that's coming out of my mouth. I don't speak like that, and all these bad tempered, bad words come out, and I'm cussing and I'm carrying on and everything, and it's just imprinted in there somewhere. Anyway, so from there, went to secondary school. I was brilliant with art. I was brilliant with maths, English, everything, except for the fact that my English teacher, the first year English teacher, was not very. She was typical of the teachers at the time, not recognizing that we can actually we're very clever people, us kids from the Caribbean, yeah. And the challenge I had was I used to read a lot of fairy tales. I used to escape every Saturday. I was in the library with a new set of fairy tales, and the language in the fairy tales were very, very oldie worldy. They used terms like yonder, over yonder, and very sort of old worldy English. Now, in the Jamaican dialect, there's still a lot of old fashioned words that we would use at home. Anyway, this particular time, my English teacher said for us to freestyle a story, just write a story, because I think she couldn't be bothered to give us set any homework. So she just told us to write a story. I wrote my story because I love my fairy tales. I wrote a fairy tale story, and I used some of the language and some of the language that we use at home as well, which was not foreign to me. And so handed the work in. Next lesson, I was called up to the front of the class, thinking I've done such a really good work because I really enjoyed that piece of writing. And I remember standing next to the piano because she was the piano teacher, as well as the English teacher, and not piano teacher, music teacher. She was the music teacher as well as the English teacher. So stood up in front of the class, and she absolutely slated me in front of the class. She was ringing me out. Don't you dare ever copy from books again. The idea is you're supposed to write your own story. Copying things from books is not allowed. The next time you do that, you'll be in detention. I'm going to report you to the headmistress. It really, really made me feel like an inch small in front of the whole of the class. And I thought it was like a shock to my system. From that day until I left school, right, at age of 17, because I stayed on to the upper six, I didn't do well in English at all. I just didn't do anything because I thought if that's the height of what I can do, I've written a really brilliant story. I've used all the words that I can, flavor up the story. And to the extent that the teacher thought I'd copied it from a book. So therefore, if I do that level of writing, then she's going to tell me off even more. So I'm not going to do anything. So I didn't do hardly anything in English anymore. Sometimes I'd fall asleep. Sometimes I didn't do the homework. I don't even care what marks I got. I just was not into English. However, one of my passions right now to this very day is writing. I love writing my blogs. I don't like being in front of the camera. I don't like being on stage, but writing, I can really bring my emotions into the writing. I can bring my thoughts. I can, debate. I can, especially with the laptop and the word programs and everything, I can change things around to make it seem, improve it, say, yeah. Whereas before you used to have to write everything out and write it out again, kind of thing. So now I can really have free flow with my writing, which is absolutely what I love. And I sometimes think to myself, if I had a really good English teacher, what would where would I be now? Maybe I'd have written several books. Maybe I would have written some films. Maybe I'd have been a teacher myself, but that traumatized me. It really knocked me for six. The fact that, as an 11-year-old, I was told that my piece of writing was, I copied it. So anyway, that's me at 11. I'll probably tell you a bit more story a bit later on. I'm not going to do the whole thing tonight. It's actually 10 o'clock. That noise that you heard, it's my calendar telling me it's 10 o'clock. Because I have to have these things in place because I'm an in-time person. There's two types of people when it comes to time management. There's on-time people and there's in-time people. On-time people are always on time, even half an hour early, 10 minutes early. They're always, always early, always on time. My mom was like that. She was always early. If I had to, she asked me to take her anywhere. She'd be ready half an hour, and she'd be wait. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You're late. You're late. You're late. Come on, come on. It's time to go now. Come, 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 come. And I'm there faffing about. And one of the things as well is when if I do get ready early to leave, and there's like the half an hour, I find something else to start. It's like, oh, I'll just do this little thing, or I'll just move that, or just tidy this up, and before you know it, I'm well into this thing that I've just started again, and it makes me late. So yeah, so what I do is I have little alarms to stop me from being lost in time. That's what that phrase means. I'm an in time person, because when I get into my creativity, I can be lost for days. I could be gone. Like when I'm reading, when I'm doing my artwork, when I'm writing, I could be there and just totally, totally immersed. And then when I look up, it's probably 2 days later. So what I do is I set my alarm for brushing my teeth, for waking up, for going to the shops, whatever it is I need to break the spell, get me out of the being in time, and then that's the only way I can manage it. So if you're always late and you're an in time person, it's a good idea to use your device to set your little alarms for certain things to get you out of the spell of being wherever you're at in time. So anyway, I'm going on a bit. I don't think I need to say any more now. I'm tired. I think I'm going to do my JenzTEN96s in the morning, because as it gets later and later and later and later in the day, I look more and more tired. My brain starts fogging up. It starts shutting down. I tend to waffle. And even with trying to do some bullet point notes and do my notes that I've got in my notebook there for things to write, to remember to talk about, it's just not. I'm not as sparkly as I should be. Tell me about going out to a party now. Yeah, you soon see how I wake up and I'm there and I'm getting my clothes on and I'm getting ready to go out and I'm partying until 4 o'clock in the morning. But just doing mundane things and regular things, yeah, just the brain it's time to sleep now. Let me know if you're like that. Let me know if you're that kind of person. Let me know if you're an in-time person or an on-time person. Yeah, let's know. Let us know about a little bit about your experience of being sort of knocked back at school for no reason. Was there something you were really, really good at, and you were slated by the teacher um, or your classmates, or young boyfriends, anything, or first time at work when you were 16, 17, doing Saturday jobs and things like that. Anything that knocked your confidence. It'd be lovely to know that I'm not the only person suffering from, being too clever, too much, too intelligent. Anyway, it's time for me to say goodnight now. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, please share, please like, and leave a little comment. That would help me to spread the word, help my this video to get spread around so that other people know what I'm up to. If you think it's a value to be able to spread, because I think I'm bringing in little gems to help you to move forward, move your life forward. But this next set of 30 days, I'm really going to bring some lovely gems into the podcast. And I'm still waiting for Lee Simmons to do my interview, my BU interview. I think I'll call it a BU interview part 2, or BU interview 2.2, something, because I've done a set of interviews. You probably want to go back into my channel and look at the playlist for the BU interviews. I did about 15 of them, and they were all around my colleagues, associates, clients who had decided they were going to be themselves in their business. They're not going to follow anybody else's way of doing anything. Create a new framework, create a new method, create a new way of doing things, research into something that hadn't been researched before, and they've come up with their business by being themselves. So I call the whole series the BU interviews, the being you, being themselves. So take a look at some of those videos and let me know what you think. So I'm going to do that with Lee. I'm going to do a BU interview 2.2 and or 2.0. What I don't remember the term. As I tell you, my head is tired now. I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. All right. See you tomorrow. Love you.